The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of Green Acres and our guests. These general gardening tips and suggestions may work for you, as well as those from alternative sources. When using any garden products or tools, read and follow all label directions. And learn how to make your yard summer strong at bewatersmart.info.
The Green Acres Garden Podcast is the podcast dedicated to helping gardeners hone their growing skills while we celebrate our love of plants. So whether you're new to growing or a seasoned gardener, you're sure to learn something new. Join the fun as we have conversations with world-class growers, passionate green thumbs, and professional garden experts from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Listen every week. We'll answer questions you didn't know you had. And away we grow. Hello there, and welcome one and all to the show. Welcome all you beautiful and gorgeous gardeners out there. I'm your host, Kevin Jordan, and I ain't never going to stop growing. Woo. And welcome to the show where we never stop, never stopping.
Yes.
And to my side, on the ones and the twos, Austin Blank. How's it going there, Austin?
Hello, and welcome back to the show to all of our listeners. It's the best time of the week.
Love it.
And I love Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Yes.
Have you seen that movie? Pop Star?
No.
So that comes from that. It's an Andy Samberg movie.
That makes sense.
Where he has this hilarious pop star character.
Love it.
And his big hit song is Never Stop, Never Stopping.
All right. Well, hey, that'll be the theme of this episode because we
Excellent.
are right in the middle, the peak of summer. If you have a garden out there, you know what I'm talking about. Well, the work we put in right now, either getting some reward or you maybe have some struggles. We're going to go over all of that. I'm going to discuss a little bit about how the school garden is going, how my summer has been a little bit, the things that have worked, maybe some of the things that I would change looking forward. And also, we got a bunch to talk about this week, Austin. It's going to be like a family episode and just a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's so much going on. It's let's call this the July check-in, man.
Oh, there we go.
It's I'm ready for the updates on your garden. You've sent me like a couple little photos, little videos. You're very proud, and you should be because you've put a lot of work in, and it looks like your garden is thriving.
The students as well.
Yeah, can you? And Mr. A and the students and the staff. It's a group effort. But can you tell us a little bit about what's been going on in the garden?
So right now, I was out there this morning, putting in some hours. Loved it. Had so much fun. Got some work in before it got too hot. So just as it started to get real warm, like, all right, I'm ready to harvest and get out of here. Austin, zinnias. I know I've been talking about them all summer, how much I love them. Dude, I'm going to plant way more next year. I'm going to get my hands on some more varieties. They're 4 feet tall.
That's awesome.
So we planted these right as spring kind of broke, right as the school year was kind of ending. And some of them we had in starts, but a lot of them we just direct seeded. And they're 4 feet tall, Austin.
So
I cut a massive bouquet today. It was great.
That's awesome. But I'm curious, what was your secret to germination? Because I planted zinnia seeds thinking, let's just give this a shot. And I think I didn't water enough.
You know what? You read my mind. For what we did is I do have drip system in, but when I noticed when we start from seed, I have to go over there and hand water a little bit.
Okay.
And that way I can really distribute the water evenly, get those seeds kind of saturated. Depending upon what you're growing, some seeds you can soak overnight, like seeds that have a real thick seed coat. So when the temperature cools down and people are thinking about, beets and chard and things like that, those are a good example. You can soak them overnight and then plant them. But in this case, the zinnias, we didn't do any of that. Just proper depth. We did kind of prepare the soil so it was extra loose. It was graded, nice and flat and even. So we didn't get like pockets of water pooling or draining oddly. But yeah, and just get the hose out there on the shower and just lightly hand water it. And then once they were rooted in and taken off, I'll put the hose down and let the drip system take over.
So you baby it till they all kind of pop their shoots out.
Yeah. And if that is tricky, start them in containers.
Okay.
We did a little bit of both, and it was kind of nice because we planted from seed. A lot of them were successful, but we noticed maybe a few spots maybe were a little bit thinner than others. So we were able to fill it in.
Oh, cool!
And
what kind of container did you use?
We used everything from old yogurt cups to proper nursery containers.
Got it.
4-packs, 6-packs. Even some planted in little 3-inch, 3.5-inch pots.
Okay,
They don't need much when they get started. Yeah, they just get a couple sets of true leaves, and then you get those off and running, and you're good to go.
That's awesome. And you harvested, and you got some bouquets going?
Yes, a bouquet, beautiful. You never really noticed zinnias up close. I don't know if you ever stared at. Beautiful, intricate.
I like the bright, super saturated colors of the petals.
Oh yeah, the pinks, the fuchsias.
And there's always seems to be a mix. You have like a mix of colors.
Oh
right?
yeah, it's I forget what mix it was, but there's yellows, oranges, pinks, fuchsias, purples.
So cool.
It's so pretty. No fragrance, at least not a strong one. But I am so thrilled by that. So I would definitely do that again. Cucumbers are off and running. I need to thin them out.
Okay.
We're growing those vertically, which has been a total success. I should have brought you some cucumbers, although I did bring you something.
Ooh.
So we've been, like I said, it's been a pretty good harvest at the school garden, and so I brought you. You want to see some?
Okay, yeah. What do you got? So Kevin's got a bag here. He's hiding. What the heck? Oh my god!
Look at that tomato, Austin.
What?
And I know this isn't
This is
visual, but
huge.
maybe you can describe that.
Oh my garden! This is probably the biggest tomato I've ever seen in my life.
That's a big rainbow, indeterminate variety,
It
and
completely. I'm holding it in one hand, and I can't see my hand anymore.
from the base of your hand all the way to the tip of your fingers covered.
My
It's huge.
Lord.
So I weighed that one. It's just under 2 pounds.
Wow. What kind is this?
That's a big rainbow.
Big rainbow. I've never even heard of that.
I think it's
beautiful.
yeah.
It's such beautiful color on it.
Now, this is another one I brought.
Oh
and
my God, that's even
This
bigger.
is one of my favorite. Obviously, I talk about this a lot, Cherokee purple. But that is, and they usually get like medium to large for me. That is a massive Cherokee purple.
Holy moly.
So it's
Look at
pretty
this.
huge. If you sliced it, it would cover the entire piece of bread. I mean, it's massive.
This is
well over a pound.
Okay, so you've got 2 humongous.
Those are for you, by the way.
I get to eat this?
Those are yours. Yeah,
Dude,
you can have those.
Oh, pound it. Thank you.
Love it,
oh
man.
my gosh.
You got it, buddy.
That's incredible.
Yeah, those are some monsters.
I can't believe this.
Rich soil, full sun, deep and frequent waterings. You know, I was going to say that at the school garden right now, things are looking really good, but they're not perfect. And I think people, they expect maybe their garden to always look a perfect way. I'm taking the best care I can of our tomatoes out there and the other plants as well, but I'm still seeing signs of stress. You're seeing things where the plants are packed full of fruit and they're kind of slowing down the actual, vegetative growth. And so hopefully I can harvest, do a little bit of light pruning and force, maybe some light fertilizing as well and help them out. But yeah, things are looking good, but not perfect.
Okay, so you're saying the vegetative growth is slowed down because of the stress of the heat. You've harvested these humongous tomatoes.
Yeah.
And then you might fertilize a bit, and then are you expecting like another wave?
Yeah, for
Is
sure.
that only for indeterminate tomatoes?
Well, it's actually bring that up. I did one row of determinate. I think it's Celebrity, right? A nice hybrid determinate, kind of stocky.
Yeah.
And they're only they're half as tall as all the
Right.
other ones, and they're packed full of bright red, fist-sized tomatoes. And what it is that plant, I didn't have to prune a lot, didn't have to trellis it as much, and it'll produce all of its tomatoes probably the next week or two, and then it'll be done for the season.
Will you pull it right away?
I'll probably leave it for a little bit,
Okay.
and then once it's kind of toast, then I'll remove them and get something else going. But the indeterminates, no, and that's the majority of. I think a lot of people are growing
awesome.
out there. Those viney tomatoes.
Yeah,
just,
that's what we want.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Because then you get more waves.
Yes, absolutely. And then the more you prune from the bottom up, like I said, a light fertilizer. I can tell my plants right now are probably ready for some nutrition.
Sure.
Late here in the season, so I think that'll help as well. But
Because you reward your plant after it's grown.
Yeah.
With the fertilizer, right?
There we go. So I think now they're packing full of fruit. We'll start harvesting that, and hopefully we can encourage them to get a second, third wave because we have a nice long growing season. There's no reason to kind of abandon them. They're doing just fine. But
Let
like
me
I said,
tell you-
oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, so I have you're making me think about my tomatoes. I've got 9 tomatoes growing at my community garden plot.
That's pretty good for an
And-
individual person, man.
Yeah, it's like a lot to manage. But
Yeah.
What's happened, you're making me think about the vegetative growth, right? And what I've noticed is that I think I did a good job of growing these tomatoes because they're so huge. And I only provided support with a single tomato cage on each one. And they're like falling over onto each other. And one's falling over into my citronella. One's, they're like not contained at all.
Yeah.
I even have vine growth going out of my bed into the walkway with tomatoes on it. And I'm like, oh gosh, this is like out of
It's
control.
a good problem to have.
I think so, but I don't want to do that again. Like I'd rather them be better supported because some branches have broken, some they're just hard to get to. It's a little bit crazy.
So you can do a lot of different things, and we've talked about tomato staking, but really quickly, it's like for those ones that are going to get really big and heavy, if you have the cages and you're really set on using them, use a hybrid system where I'll put a nice big thick wood stake in with my cage to support it if I have to. So if you want to use the cages, you still can.
Right. Some of the cages fell over.
But you can make them a little bit more robust. Some people use bamboo. You can get the hardwood stakes or whatever.
Okay.
Something that's going to be strong enough to withstand that weight. So if you don't want to have to do a whole lot, that's probably one of the most low barrier kind of to entry situations. Otherwise, you know me, I like growing them linear.
Florida weave.
Doing the Florida weave, because it's just, I'm in rows. But a lot of people don't have that option. They're in a garden. It might be a little bit more sporadic or a little bit more organic, so to speak. So the cages are the way to go. But you got to sometimes, for me, I've had the same problem every time I've ever grown a really good batch of tomatoes with just the cage. By midsummer to the end of the summer, they've outgrown the cage. The cage is kind of given up on life. You see that they kind of bend over. And not all cages are, created equal. I notice some out there are really robust and maybe offer a greater degree. But even still, extra stake in there, dude, it goes a long way.
I think I was intimidated by the Florida weave. I know you've talked about it and how easy it is and how good it is, but my first go, I was like, nah, I don't know. I have these cages. I'm going to give this a shot. And if they grow out of this, then I did good and I'll be happy. But now I'm like, I wish I'd done the Florida weave.
You know what? If you're going in determinates, I feel like it really helps out. Whereas, like I said, the determinate varieties, those stocky ones, didn't really need it.
Right. They don't need any.
Not nearly as much. Yeah. But a little bit of staking, especially you'll notice this time of year, those plants just, if they're growing, man, they get big quick. Yeah. And they don't have the strength to hold themselves up. So support them. Some people are doing like the arches like that we've seen, and that's kind of fun.
Okay. For tomato.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of options out there, but just keep them up off the ground because otherwise you're going to get more pests, more waste, more lost fruit. So
cool. Okay.
But for us, dude, basil. We've been coming again all this basil so if you're out there and you're growing your basil, you're seeing it bolting, and you're like, oh no, I wanted more. Cut it back.
Okay.
Cut it back. Let it regrow. Like I said, long season. We're very, grateful for that. But for me, the basil has been just going nuts. We've been making pesto at the house.
Nice.
Both original and California style with the almonds or the almonds.
Cool.
And so good. So stinking good. And the one plant that I've noticed, so for people out there like, man, I really want to grow, a summer garden and be successful. If you want to be successful early on, consider having peppers be one of those plant categories you're considering growing. Because for me, in this heat, like I said, I've seen signs of stress, the cupping of the leaves and things like that on our tomato plants, and they're doing fine, but they're reacting. The pepper plants, I feel like they're just embracing it. We've planted them pretty close, so I'm not getting a lot of scorch and scald on the fruit. But, overall, 100, 105 degree days, they're loving it.
The peppers are fine.
They do not look stressed one bit, and they're
That's
putting
cool.
off so much fruit. And another thing is if you are growing peppers and you want to encourage more, so if you leave them on, you're say a jalapeno, if you leave it on, it'll eventually turn red, right? And
I've seen that with my shishitos.
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
I'm like, I don't know. Do I leave it or do I
Holy
eat it still?
shishito, what do I do?
What do I do?
Either one, up to you.
Okay.
And so it depends what you're doing. And so if you're trying to make homemade sriracha sauce, you let those jalapenos go red. But a lot of people, for me, I'm stuffing them. I'm making salsa and whatnot. I'm pulling them off green. And I've noticed online people are having issues with their jalapenos.
Oh, what is their issue?
So they're noticing these gray and kind of little check marks and little wrinkles on them. They call it corking. It's like these, not freckles, so to speak, but that's kind of essentially like a stretch mark on the jalapeno. They're growing so quickly in the heat. They've got access to a great amount of water. Some people say it might be overwatering, might have an issue with this. But for me, it's also, I've seen it. It just happens. It's not a bad thing. Actually, some people like it, and it's like a sign of maturity or maybe of potential heat in that pepper. But it doesn't harm it at all. If you want to get to them early, just harvest them a little sooner if you want to avoid that. But then again, you're not going to let them get red. But it has no negative effect on the quality of the fruit necessarily or the peppers. But so if you're noticing these weird little gray little marks on your jalapenos or pepper, it's just corking and totally normal. And it just has to do with the heat and the fast growth.
And you can still eat it, no problem.
Absolutely.
Okay,
for
cool.
sure.
And you can still eat them if they go red.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I missed the boat on that one.
Oh, yeah, and it takes a while. Some peppers, you'll notice, will go from green and doesn't go straight red. They'll go kind of dark and almost get kind of like chocolatey or even black in a way. And then boom, and then they'll turn to red or orange or yellow or whatever their final.
I just experienced that
form
with my
is.
shishitos, and then some of, you know what plant did really well for me was the Ed's Best pepper.
Nice.
It's from Ed Isley.
Yeah.
And I think Ed Isley is something, or it was Earl Isley's friend Ed,
His favorite.
and it was his favorite pepper, and I grew that just to try it, and it turned out great.
Yeah.
They were really, really tasty. I took them over to my friend's house for dinner, and we cooked them up, and it was awesome.
It's better than anything you can get at a store when it's so fresh from the garden.
I know. It was amazing.
That's why I love a good pepper, because when they're from the garden, you crunch into it, and it's so loud you can't even hear yourself think as you're chomping into it. I love it. So those are things I've been noticing online. People are like, what is this? What's going on? And another one that kind of I think is the same vein, and you can put this under the whole category of like impacts to the garden from the heat. Right. So we've actually had a relatively decent summer, I would say.
What do you mean by decent?
Like it's been warm, but it hasn't. Like I feel
hot.
like it could have been worse. And knock on wood.
Well, last week it was pretty hot.
For sure. For sure. Okay, maybe I'm being optimistic. But for instance, there has been some impacts from the heat, right?
Yes,
and
for
so there's
sure.
no doubt about it. And some of those impacts are like the corking that we see, where you just see extreme. When it's warm, they got a lot of water, they're going to grow and do that. Another one that I'm noticing is what's happening to my heirloom tomatoes, or my tomatoes are getting bleached out on one side, and that's just sun scald. A really simple problem happens. I mean, you'll notice when your plant's really healthy, it's got lots of big leaves, and those shade leaves are there to kind of shade out over your fruiting, your developing, ripening tomatoes. But sometimes there's just not enough, or it's 105 degrees several days in a row, or whatever, and they're just cooking in the sun, and so. If you get to it early enough, if you notice the heat's going to come in, you can maybe harvest them a little sooner. People I know who have been utilizing shade cloth probably get a lot less of this, and I think that's one of the main reasons why they like to use that shade cloth, is that it keeps their plants a little bit under not quite so stressful conditions, and then the fruit that is actually exposed is not, it's in the shade. It's not getting just blasted by the sunshine. So I've seen that's very common. It's happened to a lot of people. In my garden right now, I pulled some out today where they have a little bit of scald. And so thankfully you just get to them earlier, and hopefully you can enjoy that before.
But if it does have it on there, you just cut it off, right?
It depends on how severe. Yeah, you can slice it away, but if it gets bad enough, it'll kind of
ruin
the tomato, man.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, but hopefully those will be good for you. Those
I don't see
should have
any on
excellent.
this at all. These look.
It looks like a little beach ball. Look at that thing.
This is crazy.
It looks fake. I love it. So some more things I've been noticing that from the heat, and people are like, what's going on? Is that kind of same vein, is that cracking, splitting of your tomatoes.
Sure.
It's like, what's going on? So there's a lot of different things. Long story short, watering. So when the plants are growing and they're maybe going dry, a little bit of stress is good. But then if they're really desperate for water and then they finally get a lot of it, sometimes as that water makes its way into that developing fruit, the fruit grows just like the corking. It grows so fast that the skin can't stretch as it's growing. And so you'll get the splittings. There's two main types of splitting. There's radial, which is like the vertical splitting, right? So from top to bottom, like a little.
That's what I see the most.
Yes.
I feel like.
And those ones are the worst, because
for
me, those are the splits that are the cracking that are really going to split into the tomato and kind of reveal the interior. And then that's where you either got to get to it fast or just feed it to the worms.
I had some of that on mine, on my pink Berkeley tie-dyes.
Yes, so it happens, you'll notice some varieties are a little more susceptible, especially if they have thinner skin and things like that. But I noticed like a lot of my cherry tomatoes avoid that, because they grow and develop so much more quickly, and I can get to them a little faster. And I just noticed that sometimes the larger slicing tomatoes, sometimes the heirlooms, maybe are a little more susceptible. So there's ways to avoid that. Like I said, if you can be consistent with your water, we do recommend, the deep and frequent waterings, depending upon where you live. For us, watering a ton of water all day, every day, it's probably going to encourage the splitting. But then again, if you let it dry out for way too long and then inundate it, that might also, so it's like you got to find that happy little spot in between where you are giving them nice deep watering, but then giving them some time to actually utilize that water. Get just a touch stressed, so that way those sugars can build up and that quality of that fruit will remain high.
But then hydrate again,
and then you're off and go. You're good to go. Even when you're doing everything right in the garden, just Mother Nature has other intentions, and if it's hot, it's hot, and so the plants may show stress, the fruit. So if that's the case, and you can't really control the weather, you can actually get out there and just harvest them a little sooner. So of course, I know a lot of gardeners, listeners probably already know about this, the breaker stage. And no, that's not the stage at which Austin was in middle school doing windmills and head spins.
Hey, I'm a sweet break dancer.
Yeah, pop it and lock it, baby. But no, the breaker stage, it's essentially you start to see those tomatoes start to develop and they start to get color forming into them. And not their fully rich color, but just start to colorize all the way around the tomato.
Like getting blushed, right? Like
yes,
getting red.
Properly blushed.
Right, okay.
Fully. And then you can actually pop it off, which for some people may feel premature, but it can actually further ripen and develop off the vine. It's got everything it needs now to finish up. And so some of the ways to avoid pest damage, people go, oh, I got squirrels or I got rats or I got birds. The longer you leave the fruit on that vine, the more things that can happen to it that you don't want.
Sure. So if you have those pressures, pull them at that breaker stage.
Yeah, if you can.
Then it'll continue to ripen off the plant.
You can bring it indoors, keep it safe, and then eat it when it's ready to rock.
Hey, I got a question for you, though.
Yes.
You mentioned a radial split in the tomatoes. And I feel like that's the only kind of split I've ever seen. What is the other kind?
So the other one is they call it, what is it? Concentric cracking. So like rings. So you'll start to see from the top down as it stretches out a lot. I've noticed this on my Cherokee purples a bit, where you'll see rings that are forming horizontally.
Oh, like the equator is that direction.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Was it latitude, right?
Right.
And so and you'll see them, and they're not nearly as deep. That usually the tissue can heal.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
But yeah,
maybe I've been lucky.
Sometimes you'll notice it, and it's just same thing. The plant is growing; it's got access to plenty of water, and it's just that fruit's forming so fast.
Okay.
And if like I said, if you notice it, just harvest them and eat them and enjoy them. If you let them stay split on the vine for too long, then then that's going to be wasted. So get to it early.
All right. Well, thanks, Kevin. That's really cool. But you were mentioning seeing people dealing with some of these stresses on like groups online, right? Like I'm in a lot of groups now, a lot of gardening groups.
Yes.
And what I feel like I keep seeing is I've seen blossom end rot. People experiencing
same
that.
vein. That almost very similar to the cracking. Inconsistent watering.
Is that?
It's a calcium deficiency, but it's typically brought on by watering issues.
Oh, right.
Right. So very similar.
So it's not like you need to hustle out there and put calcium in your soil.
No, build your soil that you normally would.
But
the compost amendments that we usually recommend, and
it's got calcium.
Organic, it's got plenty of it.
Right.
It's the watering.
And the plant only needs a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's the watering that's causing
You know it, bud.
Okay, so there's that, and then I feel like I keep seeing people talking about leaf-footed bugs right now.
Yes,
What is going on with these bugs, Kevin? What is going on?
I love it because for me, it really shows how optimistic some people are.
Okay, how?
Because you'll see, so a leaf-footed bug like nymph, like one of the young forms of them, they look kind of like an ant with really long legs and an orange body with long kind of antennae.
Right.
So they kind of stand out, like this kind of fiery red-orange body, and they're usually in like groups and clusters.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a lot of examples of predatory insects in the garden that you're going to see in massive clusters. Sometimes you'll see ladybugs out there in good numbers, but usually out in the garden, like feeding and doing their thing. So when you see them in clusters, that's usually not a great sign. So they're not, people go, like I said, people are so optimistic. They're like, is this an assassin bug? Is this beneficial? And I love that approach. Like, is this a good bug? No, they're not. That's actually one of the bad ones.
Okay.
And just knock them into a bucket of soapy water.
Get them out of there.
Vacuum them out if you have to. Brush them into a little pail. Get them gone. You'll see the larger ones actually kind of look like their namesake, where their bodies are a bit larger and they look like a little leaf in the wind, where their legs look like leaves. But those nymphs, man, those orange ones, they are not your friend. So I'm seeing those a lot. People
what
are asking,
damage do they do?
They're sap suckers.
Sap suckers.
And disease spreaders, I imagine.
So they go to like the stems of the plant?
And any of that tissue that's soft and vulnerable.
I feel like I see them hiding
some of the fruit.
On the fruit.
Yeah. They'll stab into that fruit. And you'll notice the damage sometimes on your tomatoes. You grab a tomato, it should be ripe and looks good from afar. And you walk up and you grab it and it's like mushy prematurely and has a bunch of, almost look like the sugar spots we saw on those nectarines.
At Zagers?
At Zagers, but they're not sugar spots.
They're not holes,
They're
though?
like puncture wounds.
Oh, yeah, they are holes.
Yes.
Okay.
And so and that's when you get this. Yeah. So you don't. They're not good. They are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get those guys out of there.
Get them gone. So
and there's nothing we can really do to prevent it, or
yeah,
if you see them,
you can put out some sticky traps, so maybe that might help you identify the problem sooner. I know that helps for some people to kind of see what's going on in their garden, but just footsteps in the garden. Go out there, just check around.
Look around.
You'll notice sometimes you'll see some scat, or you'll see them on the plants or the fruit. Heaven forbid. But yeah,
they're definitely out there.
They're out there, and it's not uncommon. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It's just if anything, having bugs and insects is a good sign, right? And hopefully we'll have a guest in the future who will enlighten us a little bit.
Oh, we've got
about
some
this.
bug friends.
But even the bad ones, to a degree, have a place. But once you see them, get them gone.
Okay.
Like I said, if you see them, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. If anything, it means you've got a beautiful, lush garden.
Cool.
And you're just now it's a lure to all types of life.
Okay, I saw one other cool thing that I hadn't really seen before, and it's these people are sharing photos of these little perfect circles being cut out of their leaves.
That's me. I'm just hole punching, just trying to.
A hole puncher.
That is the natural confetti. That is the great thing to do.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
From
that's
leaves?
like an internet thing. Like make green confetti.
Make green confetti. Well, this came from, it was ID'd. I saw it was ID'd as a leaf cutting bee.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard of this. What's going on there?
So I'm sure this person was upset, probably thought their tree was under attack or whatever.
Right.
So cutting bees are awesome.
Leaf cutter? Is that what
Leaf
you call
cutter,
it?
yeah, leaf cutting bee.
Oh, that's cool.
Leaf cutter. And so they are actually a solitary bee. So, and then when they don't actually feed on your leaves, they just use those. The females will use those to make their nests. So each female individually has to make her own nest. Pretty cool.
Huh.
And so they will do that. They're typically not going to be in great numbers that'll destroy your tree or shrub. If it's something that's just super precious to you, you can protect it with fabric or whatever. And just drape it over there loosely. But like a row cover fabric. But for me, they're great. I think there's over 75 different species just in California alone.
Of native leaf cutters?
Yeah, and there's even another
What?
one that I think was brought in that is used for alfalfa pollination. So it's super important for alfalfa production. So they serve. They're a positive thing. We
And
love
they
these
use
creatures.
the little circles for their
nests. Yeah,
What? That's
yeah.
interesting.
It's beautiful. They cut these, like you said, these perfect little rings, these circles, right out of the leaves. Sometimes you'll notice it on your plants and. Yeah, it's a little bit of damage, but it's not enough to really harm a tree or a shrub.
The tree will be okay.
Anything, it's a pretty cool thing, I think. And so, yeah.
So don't worry about it.
No, their food, their food is nectar and pollen, so they're not going to eat enough of your tree. Their nests, don't require too much, I imagine.
We like these native bees. Okay.
We
All
love
right.
them. We love the bees,
Yeah, that's
man.
cool.
Yeah. Leaf cutter bees are they're awesome.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for
So
kind of...
don't spray them. Long story short, don't spray them, please.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, Kevin, we're close to time here, and I'm wondering if you have any last thoughts for anyone out in the garden, any motivation perhaps, or, looking forward, for the rest of July and into the continued heat of the summer. What is your advice for all of our listeners?
Never stop growing.
There we
keep
go.
going. No, just keep after it. Even if you have some struggles, no worries. I'm sure you'll find some success out there. And if not, just lean on the people around you. Reach out to us as much as you can, and we're happy to help. But for me, it's funny you bring up inspiration. So last week we had producer Greg on, the original garden guy, and he really got me fired up on just like the beauty and the usage of grasses, perennial grasses in the garden. Not your traditional lawn, right? Like the really cool perennial grasses that grow up and do all these beautiful things out in the garden, like provide habitat for wildlife.
Yeah, he gave us the lemongrass. I planted mine.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I put it in a pot.
An edible grass, right?
It's pretty.
So they're rad, and they taste so good. I'll just pull them out with my students. We'll just chew on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so good.
I haven't done that.
But today I got a plant of the week that isn't necessarily maybe not a grass, but it is a monocot. It's native to Africa, and I've noticed it out in the school garden today. So a few years back, I mentioned this, but a few years back, we ripped out all the grass at our school, or a lot of it. So one area, we replaced it with a pollinator garden. In there, we have a plant called red hot poker, a.k.a. the torch lily, a.k.a. Nymphophia, spelled with a K. And Nymphophia, red hot poker, beautiful plant. Like I said, its leaves look kind of grass-like, where they're vertical, they're arching, they're narrow. And it's a rugged plant. I noticed in the garden today I put almost zero effort into maintaining it for the summer, apart from just giving it some light water. It's packed full of flowers, Austin. These
wow.
bright vertical 2-3 foot spikes that glow like orange and yellow and pink, like a red hot like poker, like from a fire. It looks just like that. Hummingbirds can't stop drinking off it. They love it. It provides habitat for beneficials all through the winter and whatnot. And so I love this plant. It's durable. It's hardy. And like I said, the hummingbirds, bud. I mean, that alone. But
yeah,
it's a plant that I said, if you want to just be successful with not having to put a ton of effort in, Nephofia.
I think they look
a good one.
really cool. They're kind of unique looking. I
love
just
them.
like them for their form.
They stand out for
Yeah.
sure. It looks like it's from another, like a beautiful flowering plant from an alien world.
Right. Yeah. I love that. Okay. Go get yourself some alien plants, guys.
Yes, Nephofia, red hot poker.
Plant of the week. We need to come up with a little jingle for the plant of the week.
Oh yeah, I bet you could think of some.
Okay.
You're very musically talented.
Plant of the week.
yeah.
All right.
Segments.
Well, thank you so much for the garden update. Much needed July garden update, Kevin.
Cantaloupes on the way. I didn't even get to say there's so much. I mean, the cantaloupes, we're training them vertically, Austin. Dude, they're doing really good.
Nice.
But since we got them started later, I still have yet to pull one off.
Oh, cool.
So I'll keep you up to date. I'll bring one in. We'll eat
I bet
one.
you've got pumpkins growing too.
Not this year, buddy.
Oh, you didn't do pumpkins?
No, I wish. I love growing pumpkins, but we just didn't have the space. They
Okay.
they require a lot of space. If anyone is listening has ever grown them, they do require a lot of space. I would love to do an episode on nothing but pumpkin
I know,
growing.
me too. We've talked about this. We got to find a way.
Yeah, I think we'll do that. We got to reach out to somebody who's very passionate.
Hey, if you're out there and you're growing some massive pumpkins, talk to us.
We'd
we want
love,
to see
yeah.
those pumpkins and like what you're doing to make them get so big. I'm curious.
Oh, it's a huge hobby for some people,
Yeah.
man. Where they really put so much effort into just cultivating a single plant for just a single piece of fruit.
Right. I know. Like, I'm curious. Are you cutting off the other fruit? You're just focusing on that one? Like, how are you doing that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
Okay.
I love it. So for me, the garden's ripping, and I'm just going to keep going. We're
Nice.
actually starting school like a few weeks early this year.
Oh, you're going back soon.
So I'll be, depending upon when this episode drops, I will be back.
Oh,
Summer's
God.
ending
Oh,
quick, although I
no.
felt like it never started.
but you get your helpers back.
I'm
you get
stoked.
the garden crew back.
I
assembled.
got to see a few of them over the summer during summer school a little bit, and
Nice.
you know what? It's funny. Sometimes you get like, these kids are driving me bonkers sometimes with the behavior. But you know what? I'm so thankful and lucky to get to do. I mean, dude, I love it. Absolutely
Right.
love it, and I'm at the point now where I'm like stoked to go back
That's
to see these
huge.
kids.
All right.
Because I
well, you were
love
just
it.
joking, like, summer's over.
For
That's
sure.
scary, but that's a beautiful thing. You love your kids and excited to go back to
Well,
school.
it's been fun, dude. I've been covered in diapers and whatnot, and I didn't want to go into it, but it's been good. It's been good.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, and I hope everyone has been having a great harvest so far and is eating lots of stuff.
Yes.
And
share
yeah,
that harvest. Share
it with us. Find our Facebook group. There's a link to it in the episode description, or just go on Facebook and find the Green Acres Garden Podcast Facebook group, and we'll find you there. Kevin, that's all for this week. Go ahead and take us out.
Man, what a hearty episode. We got to talk about so much. I loved it. Please reach out if you have any thoughts, ideas, questions, comments, concerns. Please let us know. Reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, and the YouTube.
Yep.
The Green Acres YouTube channel's up and running and doing wonderful things. So I want to say happy week, happy gardening to all of you. I hope you're doing well. I truly hope your gardens are thriving and that you're actually overcoming the heat and doing great things out there. So until next week, have a great week out in your gardens. Happy gardening to you all. And please, never stop growing. And never stop, never stopping.